Hey everybody, this is Jerry with GoatConnect.io, and today we have one of our new Rising Star clients, Pedro, who's joining us to talk about how they've booked 6 jobs within the first 30 days. Thanks for coming on, Pedro. How you doing?
Great, man. It's been great working with you guys. And honestly, it is better than I thought. The way that you built the system, for me personally, it's awesome because it gives me the freedom to get to work and not be worrying like, oh, I have to call this customer. I have to follow up with them right now. The system will take care of that while you have other tasks to do.
Yep.
And the good thing about this, and this is personally for me, it just put me into a position that I have to be learning and developing myself in the sales process, installation process, and the business process, because that way I will win more jobs. The system, it's a must have.
Pedro, tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and what you guys do, please.
So my name is Pedro, and I'm the owner of Diamond Epoxy Pros, and we primarily do garages, epoxy floors.
I was wondering if you can just kind of summarize your results since joining our program. I think it's almost 30 days now.
Yep. I sold 2 jobs already, and I have 4 more that's lined up. So that's 4 plus the 2. We have 6 jobs basically closed.
Sweet. That's pretty awesome for your first 30 days.
Yep.
What ends up happening is your list keeps compounding. People who are not ready today are ready in 2 weeks, in a month, in 6 weeks, etc. So as long as you keep staying on top of your list, the 6 jobs in a month, you'll have more than double that, in your pipeline that are ready to close. So it's thinking bigger than just the first 2 weeks or 30 days.
Yeah, you're nurturing them to be a potential customer down the road in a month or two, or maybe more. Who knows?
Indeed, it's not an urgent matter, right? Epoxy flooring, it's not needing a
Yeah.
leaky roof fixed. It's something they could do now in 2 months, 3 months, so the follow-up process is just so crucial to success.
Yes, and this is one of the key things that I found from your system. The follow-up process is meticulous. I literally had a guy, I messaged him and I've tried to call him like 3, 4 times. He didn't answer. The system kicks in for following up. I think after 2 or 3 follow-ups in a period of 2 weeks, he called me and say, "Hey, my apologies because I didn't answer your calls and did not respond to your text, but I do want a quote." So at the end, he was like, "My apologies. Like I put in the request, but I never get back to you."
That's something I stress all the time because these guys or ladies have filled out a request for a free quote. So they are interested. And some guys have it in their mind like, oh, I don't want to chase anybody. I don't want to bother anybody. It's
I
like,
had that mentality when I first started. Like, hey, I don't want to be bothering people because this is not a needy service. And whoever wants it will try to find somebody to get help from. And that's gotta be wrong. What I've learned so far is the more that you nurture the customer, the more that you give them information, they'll be more comfortable by the time they be like, hey, you know what? Let's schedule a quote. Then you show up with odds on your side, I would say.
and the follow-up process, what's actually happening too, a lot of times on the other side, on the receiving end, is that potential customer is starting to trust you more because they see you're a real company. You're following up with them, like it builds a certain level of trust. If they're inquiring with one or two other companies and you're the guy who's been following up with them, why wouldn't they call you over the other companies that they are inquiring with? Can you tell us what were the problems you were facing before our system?
I had the similar system built, but I didn't have the structure that you have, the weekly follow-up and the monthly follow-up. I didn't even have the AI bot. I had some page that customers literally could go there and see my calendar and book in a free estimate on the day and time that they wanted to. And that was good. But I was wasting so many trips because by the time that I get there, people will be like, oh, I just wanted to see like a price point because I saw this ad on Facebook, Instagram, and then I just thought it would look nice in my garage. And we're not really ready to get it done,
Mhm.
but just wanted to have like a quote. You're here, so it's a free quote. So we might as well get the quote done. And to me, one of the reasons that I liked your system a lot better than the one I was doing is people put in their info and it forces me to get back with them. I was a little scared to be like calling them and be like, oh, I think I might be bothering them because they might be busy working and they don't want to be bothered. But reality is they put in the request. So they are interested.
Yeah, I think the concept is exciting to think that, hey, a bot could do all of the work and book the estimate for me, and all I have to do is show up. But then when you start doing that, you realize, well, if I would have had a quick conversation with this person, I probably would have realized that maybe this isn't an estimate I need to go waste my time on. A quick conversation, maybe make me realize this isn't the right fit for me. And the human element of creating a connection with a person, is much stronger. Like AI is not going to be able to
Key.
take the place of that. So I hear you on that 100%.
Yeah, it's key because we as a business owners need to learn to ask the right questions. That's key right there on the phone. Hey, this is Pedro here with blah, blah, blah. Are you looking to get this done? Have you looked into other estimates? What's the time frame you're looking to get the job done? You're just looking for price wise. You got to find out like what is the customers into. The customers that it's like, okay, we've got couple estimates already, and we're getting more, so we can compare it. Those are the customers that I've tried to book in appointments to go like right away because they're ready to buy. They just don't know yet which company to go with.
And asking the right questions will set you up for success during the in-person meeting. For example, I'm sure you've heard the let me talk it over with my wife, right? You
Yeah.
probably heard that a bunch. If you're getting that, think about it. If on the phone you ask something like, hey, are you the only person making this decision, or is there, do you have a spouse that? Okay, great. They're involved in it too. Can we make an appointment for both parties to be there so you can immediately avoid that? Can you tell us why you chose our program specifically over the other options that are available?
I talked to in numerous companies, many, many companies. And the one thing that I've liked and talked to you, we have like a straight conversation. And one of the things that you said to me, it was, hey, you need to make money in order to make my business work, in order to me make money.
Yep.
And this was one of the things that kind of lined up with my situation and my way of thinking too, my mindset. And having your service for the price that you have, it's awesome. And the time that your system saves me, it's innumerous. I mean, if you take the time and divide by the amount that you charge, it's like pennies.
Yes. Is there anything in particular that you found really helpful, and why?
Yes, the AI bot, that's key right there because you are able to get the customer a response whenever they put in a request. The response, it's almost immediate.
Yeah. It
And
removes the speed to lead problem for those who know about speed to lead. They've done so many studies on this, but
yeah,
basically one of the studies is that business owners who respond to leads within 5 minutes are 100 times more likely to make a connection and end up closing a deal. So it solves that problem for you. As a result of implementing our program, I know it's just been 30 days. You touched on this already, but what has been the outcome so far?
The focus is to have more people doing this and have sales reps selling. I've tried to develop myself and my sales process, the installation process and everything. Your system, it's great. A lot of times I'm busy, I'm working, and the AI bot is just responding customers and putting them on a holding list kind of thing. So I can following up with each and every one of them. And that's one of the good features. And plus the nurturing time, weekly, monthly, because if you're being persistent with them, they might find a company that may look better than you, that may charge a little bit less than you, but if you build enough trust, they end up paying more for the customer experience. They will treat you like a real company, not somebody who is messing around. It's a great system all around, but if you don't have the right skills, if you don't have patience, and if you don't persist, like sometimes they will ghost you. Sometimes you will call them many times, they don't answer. They don't respond to tags, and all of a sudden they call you, hey, can you get a quote for me like 1 hour from now? Or and you just got to make it happen. Sometimes you can't, you just can't. But I try to do like everything that I can so I can win more jobs. I've discovered Facebook marketing, Instagram, and before then I used to have Home Advisor, Angie's List, and all of that, and just literally waste money. And I was like, I gotta find something else because this is not sustainable. And the most important thing that I think most people do not understand by do these type of paid ads, it's you have to develop a good strategic for following up, because I am a one man show. I set up the appointment, I show up to the estimate, and I get the job done. So it's a challenge, but it can be done. Business owners may think, oh, I want results like this fast. And you might have 30, 50, 60 leads in a month. But if you don't have the proper approach to them, you're just gonna waste money, because there's a lot of companies out there investing in marketing and also investing in people, investing in good training. I've discovered for myself that besides the marketing, we have to develop ourselves with
Mm.
systems, and it's one of the most important parts, I would say.
Man, that is so true. Where do you think you would be right now if you didn't start with us, if you didn't take action and you stayed on the older system that you had prior to getting started with us?
I would be chasing leads like crazy. And I would be running all over the place like I was last year. I've got to manage time way better because the system that I had, they could go ahead and book the appointment. And if I call them, they'll be like, okay, we already have an appointment. So there's basically nothing to talk over with. I started calling a few of them, hey, just kind of get a feeling on what they wanted. And people would just, don't worry about that. We'll cover that by the appointment. You'll be here, right? I was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way to build a real connection like that before arriving, for
Yeah,
sure.
because on their mind, they're like, okay, we just got another estimate.
Yeah, yeah. For them, they're not thinking about your time. They just want to get
I
that
know.
extra estimate. And why not? Okay, what is it to them? They meet with you for a couple of minutes. They get an estimate from you, from the next guy, from the next guy, and whoever's the cheapest wins. You know that there's no connection there at all. If anybody is watching who's on the fence about booking a call and speaking to us about our program, what would you say to them?
If you have a small company, a big company, it doesn't matter. If you want a real system that actually works, that will put you in a position to win jobs, to be successful in business, and to save time. This is a must-have system because as a business owner, 24 hours in a day is not enough. And the system, it's doing awesome for me, for my company, and I believe for the customers too. I've tried to get a feedback from them, and all that people say is, I loved that you gave me a response right away and you did follow-ups, and that's everything. It's due by the system. I barely doing those kind of things. The most important part besides the system, it's developing a good strategy for a sales process. The system, it's awesome, but the system alone will not make the sale for you. I had to realize that I have to become better every single day. I have to learn how to overcome objections because at the end of the day, this is a challenging business because nobody is in a hurry to get a garage done. I would say 90% of people use garage as a storage, and they'll be like, okay, I'm ready, but it doesn't matter the time. Or can you get it done next week or 2 weeks from now or whatever?
No urgency about it. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's literally that. And what I have like a one trick that I use that I like to say to customers, like, hey, if you're flexible on time, which they always is, like I might be able to give you, a couple $100 to fill in our schedule.
Yep.
And then they'll be like, okay, what that would look like. And we'll just go in, okay, just give me a second, let me pull up my calendar, and then I'll give you a few options here. And then I pull up my calendar, I look at least a week or 2 weeks in advance, and say to them, hey, I have this dates available. Would any of those work for you to fill in our calendar? And I would be able to give you 150 off or $200 off on this if you be able to make one of those dates. That way I can control my calendar and I can give you a little discount that they will be satisfied with too.
I love that strategy, man.
It's a win-win. I mean, it's like I'm helping them with a little discount and they're helping me booking jobs and filling in my calendar,
Yeah, it's
basically.
also a way of kind of putting a little bit of an urgency for them. Like, hey, if you're willing to commit to a certain time, like I can give you that discount. So I love it, man. That's awesome.